Chapter 4. Small Beginnings in the Whorehouse off Ponce de León, or How the Cockroach Choir Got Me a Record Deal. Don't despise small beginnings, they're the only kind there are. I was broke, bouncing at a club in Little 5 Points and selling guitar strings at Clark Music. My apartment was a tiny studio in a whorehouse off Ponce de León. Rent was cheap. The soundtrack was footsteps, whispers, and occasional screaming matches bleeding through the ceiling onto my 4-track tapes. Cockroaches danced backwards. Sometimes they sang doo-wop while I slept through afternoons after sleepless nights. No curtains, just sleeping bags stapled over cracked windows. The hiss was holy when the lights were low enough. Where I was didn't matter half as much as what I was building. When the muse locks you into flow, when you bounce out of bed or off the floor and dive into creation again, the room could be a mansion or a slum, it hardly registers, because no matter what room you're sitting in, the kingdom within is shining so bright you hardly notice. I could imagine that tiny room being anything but what it was. Andre 3000 said it best at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, "Big things happen in small rooms." Don't I know it? On good days, I called the room Abbey Road. I saved every penny for an ADAT machine. When it finally arrived, buyer's remorse hit like a hangover. The challenge to make good on that investment fell from the sky like a hammer. So I recorded song after song to justify the purchase. One of those lo-fi messy masterpieces ended up in Peter Gabriel's hands. Everything changed. Luckily, it had my phone number on it. One day the phone rang and the cockroaches heard him leave a message as they crawled across the tiny microcassette in the answering machine. Small beginnings don't have to stay small, they just have to start. Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. Zechariah 4:10. The plumb line keeps the walls straight. It doesn't care that the wall is in a whorehouse. We dream of stadiums, money, love, applause. In the beginning, there is none of that. Only hiss, cockroaches, screams overhead, and the terrifying relief of finally pressing record. What no one tells you is this: the vibrancy of life that only creation gives you is the ultimate value. I landed in actual mansions, in actual studios that rivaled Abbey Road, and the muse, God, love, light is in every room, no matter how big or small. You determine the writing on the wall. Earl Nightingale said, "Success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal." Success starts the moment you begin, not when the world notices. That first shitty line, that first embarrassing sketch, that first post nobody likes, that song you sing alone in a room no one will ever hear, those aren't failures. They're the mountaintop. The mountaintop of overcoming the fear that kept you from starting. It collapses the second you start. Turns out it was smoke. Then grace floods in. The Lord rejoices. Or the universe aligns, or your higher self finally stops sulking and cheers. You're not alone anymore. You're in partnership with the divine. There, I said it. You've invited God into the room, and he's turned your blood to wine, casting pearls before swine until attention rewinds. The reward of beginning is bigger than a gold record, something more like peace of mind. Bigger than celebrating the past, that first step, that small beginning, planting a seed into the dawn of creation, watering it with the blood of your need for psychic salvation. Don't leave your small beginning at eternity's station. Don't despise small beginnings. Small beginnings are the end result of slaying demons that are sinning, the day you finally start winning. Plumb line in a whorehouse. Bought the ADAT with door money scraps, moved into a whorehouse off Ponce de León. Worked through the night as the cockroaches tapped, sang through the night, slept through the dawn. Moans and screams raining through the ceiling like bad reverb echo whores screaming with feeling. What I heard, it's absurd sounds stinking of mold. small beginnings, regret, and the dream we were sold. On myself I took a bet. The plumb line doesn't care about the address I set the muse to despair. It only checks the wall you're building is straight, and you confess creation's weight. The Lord rejoices to see the tool in your hand, even when it's covered in what you can't understand. Even when the bass growls and the treble starts to hiss, like the snake of temptation staring into the abyss. Sleeping bags and whorehouses, Genesis will call. The world will begin from a beginning that is small.